Hey everybody, it's Austin Ward for Lettermen Row, back with another BuckIQ. Zach Boren in the building. You know we're talking about defense, and it's National Signing Day, this early period. Zach, you want to make sure that you get some of these signatures and lock these guys down early. Tommy Eichenberg wound up being a pretty significant addition for Ohio State down the stretch.
He did. This was a guy that Ohio State fought for very hard. He was a Boston College commit. You know, a lot of people thought he was going to go up to Michigan for the longest time. But this is a kid that I know Ohio State's excited to have. He's another linebacker from Ohio, like Cade Stover, and they really want that athletic but physical linebacker back at Ohio State.
It seems like there's a pretty rich tradition of getting these Ohio Midwestern linebackers in this program playing for the Buckeyes.
It is, and the great thing you see, they're not just thumpers nowadays, right? So many times, especially in the 90s, and even when I was coming out, the linebackers were big thumpers, and they would always go down south to find these athletic guys. Nowadays, you're seeing these linebackers from Ohio that are able to run sideline to sideline, that are able to run with the guys from the South. And not only are they able to do that, but they're able to also bring that physical presence to the middle of the field.
Does it mean more when you win a recruiting battle over Michigan?
I think it always does, right? Come on, you compete at everything you do.
There you go.
You win or you lose. Come on.
I've heard that before in the Woody.
Yeah.
So 365 days a year. Ohio State gets a big one here in Tommy Eichenberg. We've got that highlight reel. It's not going to be a traditional BuckIQ. We're going to talk it through and see what jumps out on film for Zach as he looks at this new addition to the Silver Bullets. Let's roll the tape. Zach, this should give us a little bit more read on Tommy Eichenberg here. It looks like we're seeing some real dudes that he's out there with. I don't think level of competition is going to be as much of a factor as we break down what Eichenberg can bring with that physical presence and lowering the boom right there for the Buckeyes.
Yeah, no, jumping off at me, he kind of reminds me of Scott McVay, former Ignatius guy, went to Ohio State, granted battled some injuries, but really good player, really tough guy. I mean, this is what Ignatius breeds. They have Tommy Eichenberg, first and foremost, is a lot more athletic than people think. He's a tall kid. He's able to run. You see, him dropping into coverage, be able to break on it. Quick, fast twitch. But what I love is the power and the hard-nosed physicalness that he brings to the middle of this defense.
Bring that back for us. We look at this place, filling the middle. I think this is something that you've talked about all year round with Ohio State linebackers, not trying to fight underneath blocks, take on a block and fill the hole.
Yep. Yeah, I'm not so sure with him just playing right here in the middle. I mean, I don't know what the defense they're trying to. Yeah, we don't know the call. We don't know what they're trying to do. But he is literally, him being the middle linebacker, the only one, he literally has to play tackle to tackle. He's responsible for everything inside of here. You're able to see him read. All these guys are coming straight out. He's able to read, take on the lead blocker, and make the tackle on the quarterback.
Pretty impressive stuff. I know that's the kind of physical approach there in the middle that you've always been,
I love that.
I
love it. I love the physical presence that someone's able to bring. When you're able to read and react while also bringing the pain, I like to call it, when at the point of attack, when you make the play, like look at that. That is finishing through the tackle. That's what we need.
Yeah. Getting in there. Oh, boy. You don't even have a chance. He's jumping the snap count there.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's so much faster and quicker than what people think. Great with his hands. I love seeing that. So many high school guys are not good with their hands. They don't know how to play that. There's a lot of shoulder hitting and whatnot. When you're able to see a high school kid take on a block with his hands and shed and come off and make the play, he's advanced. He must have made a big play right there.
You take the helmet off even. Where do you think he projects best, Zach, if you had to put a position on this guy?
You know what? I like seeing him at the Sam linebacker. We've seen so much in Ohio State's defense, them go to more of a nickel package with a DB in there. But I think that's because of the lack of depth of at linebacker that Ohio State's had. You go back to the Austin Spittler days. You go back to even a little bit of Thaddeus Gibson, that Viper position, playing on the outside. John Simon, granted he was a defensive end, but there were times that Ohio State had him stand up and whatnot.
Sure.
I see him maybe not so much being, oh man, flipped him. I don't see him so much playing the will, maybe the Mike, depending on how he projects.
Okay.
But if you get him to the strong side, playing against a tight end, being able to run with a tight end, that's what I see him doing. He's physical enough. He's big enough. Great with his hands already. That's where he's going to succeed at Ohio State.
Good thing for Ohio State is that they don't necessarily need him to go in and do it right away as a freshman. That room, we've talked about it with Cade Stover, but then potentially Malik Harrison, Tuff Borland, Pete Warner, Keandre Jones, all these other guys coming back. That room is getting pretty crowded and talented.
No, it is. And I think, you talk about where he projects. I see him taking over that Pete Warner role, but not so much out, playing over the slot so much. I see him coming on the line of scrimmage a little bit more and be able to play closer to the box, whereas you see Pete Warner playing more outside.
A lot of options. They don't have to decide right away, but clearly you can see.
See, like, look at this. This is exactly where I see him projecting. Almost right here, maybe out here a little bit more, the 18 Sabino position when I played back in the day.
Sure.
But someone's being able to play here, when they see a tight end, heavy set, he's able to come up on the line. But this is exactly what I see him doing at Ohio State.
It's so important for linebackers anymore that you have to stop the run always, but you need to be able to turn and go and get in coverage if the situation arises.
You are exactly right.
New age college football. Tommy Eichenberg can play it. Zach Boren can break it down. He's been here for National Signing Day looking at the guys coming in for Ohio State. He's Zach Boren. I'm Austin Ward. We'll see you next time at Lettermen Row for BuckIQ.